No outlaw roaming the West is complete without a quality repeater in their arsenal. It is a versatile weapon with a lot of flexibility and can be used in mid, long and even close range combat. It is also one of the slowest weapons to degrade while shooting, meaning more accuracy for longer and less use of gun idle. There are 4 repeaters that you can choose from in Red Dead Online, each with their own characteristics and charm. In this video, we're going to have a good overview of each gun with some in-depth testing so we can try to settle the age-old argument, what is the best repeater to have in the West? So for testing each repeater, we are going to test on 6 main stats that broadly determine the overall efficiency of each repeater. The first 5 parameters are normalized approximations based on other weapons, with higher totals indicating more superior performance in each category. Damage will refer to the damage each shot will do when hitting a target. Range is an approximation of both the maximum lock-on range of the weapon as well as its maximum fire range. Fire rate is how many bullets it'll fire per second. Reload is how quick the gun can be reloaded. Accuracy is how focused the weapon spread will be when you aim, as it's indicated by the size of the reticle, and also the condition of the weapon, which is the current mechanical status of the weapon, which really affects a lot of the other stats. If you see that there is some grey section in the stats bar, which is represented by the theoretical maximum that weapon can produce, you can reach and max that out in 3 different ways. First, by equipping it with components such as a long barrel or improved rifling at the gunsmith. Also, firing specialized ammunition, which can either be bought, crafted or looted, can increase some of those stats as well. For reload speed, to reach the maximum potential, you're going to want to be using the weapon a little bit longer, as there is a hidden stat called the familiarity or the experience stat. It should take an hour or maybe 2 of killing players or NPCs, but you should be able to check your gun stats, and when you can see the reload speed doesn't have any light grey area like here, that means you have full familiarity with it. To be really sure that it was just affecting the reload speed, I decided to find a gun that I'd never used before on a second character and use that for the first time while testing all of the stats that I could test. The repeater in question that I chose was the Litfield repeater, and I tested it on how fast it was to reduce the bloom to 0, as well as the fire rate and the reload speed as well. I made sure that both guns were clean before testing, just to make sure that variable was out, but it seemed to be only the reload speed that was being affected. You can see here when they're both being reloaded at the exact same time, there isn't a huge difference in the speed except a fraction of a second. Of course, this does help in PvP bouts, but if you're playing the game, you're going to become familiar with it fairly quick anyway. I just wanted to make sure that all of the guns were fully familiar with when testing. The next variable you really need to take into account when shooting in Red Dead Online is the gun condition. Having a poor conditioned gun is just going to make your life a misery. I chose the Evans repeater to test this, as it had the highest amount of ammo capacity in all of the repeaters, and as you can clearly see, the Evans repeater in good condition dumped this load in just over 12.5 seconds, whereas the poor conditioned one was still firing off up till 21, almost 22 seconds. When it came to testing the reload speed, I just had 18 bullets to reload on one of my guns, so I was able to test up to 18 bullets on the Evans repeater. And again, as you can see, a poor conditioned weapon is going to affect your reload speed. Here it added an extra second to those 18 bullets reloading. So moral of the story, clean your weapons. The way guns degrade are either by firing them or just hanging out in dirty or water areas where they will degrade. The repeater will degrade fully after 300 shots and will degrade after 300 seconds while hanging out in dirty areas. To minimize the degradation of the weapon, you can use a gun wrap, which can reduce degradation up to 10%. Also, if you know you're going to be in mud and water for a while, you might be best just to store your weapons on your horse where they won't degrade. So all the testing that has been done here has been done with fully familiar weapons, clean weapons with no degradation, and also fully upgraded weapons with full rifling and any other upgrades available for them. We shall start off with the Carbine repeater. This is definitely one of those guns that is often overlooked because it's a starting weapon for Red Dead Online. And although the Carbine repeater isn't the best repeater in my opinion, you will become quite acquainted with it because first of all, it's very easy to unlock and it's pretty accurate and has a fairly decent damage rate. The Carbine repeater is based on the Spencer Model 1865 carbine, and it has a capacity of 7 rounds, which is the lowest of all the repeaters, and probably the biggest issue with this weapon. Looking at the damage of the Carbine repeater, it is just under 2.5 out of 4 from the in-game chart, which this translates into 5 body shots to kill someone with full health from long range, or from short range, you can take someone down in 3 shots. This is pretty respectable and on par with most of the rest of the repeaters in the pack. The rate of fire is just over 2 bars in the in-game stats menu. And in my testing, shooting standard will take 4.4 seconds to empty the clip and require a reload. This translates to about 624 milliseconds per shot. Shooting from the hip, it's a bit faster, and you will unload your 7 rounds in just over 3 seconds, which would result in 453 milliseconds per shot while hip firing. Of course, you'll have to reload after those 7 shots, which has to be taken into account, and in my final comparison, I will add that into the mix. The reload speed on this is insane and will reload all 7 bullets in 1.3 seconds, giving it the fastest reload speed out of all the repeaters, even though it can only get off 7 shots before it has to. Range-wise, the game is giving this a rating of just over 3.5 in the in-game menu. And to put this into practical in-game use, you will basically get a lock-on from this distance right here on the map from your enemy. The accuracy of a fully upgraded carbine is going to be just over 3.5 on the in-game menu. And testing the accuracy, I decided to test how long it takes for the bloom reticle to collapse all the way down, meaning it is the most accurate the gun can be. This timed out at 1034 milliseconds. Also, checking out the spread, we can see this is the grouping when just firing from standard stance and while shooting, and this is the grouping from hip firing at the wall. Overall, bar the ammo capacity, this is a very capable repeater. It's got good damage, decent accuracy, and shouldn't be just discounted as it's available early game, unlocking at just rank 1. It is also very affordable as you can purchase it for just $90 or 4 gold bars. Next up is the fan favorite, or at least one of my favorite weapons anyway, and that is the Lancaster repeater. The Lancaster repeater is based on the Winchester Model 1866 and has an ammo capacity of 14, which is double that of the Carbine repeater. In the in-game menu, the damage is ranked just over 2 out of 4. It is just slightly less than the Carbine repeater. This still translates into 5 long body shots, and this also translates into 3 short range shots. So it is on a par. The rate of fire is just under 2.5 out of 4 on the in-game menu. This translates into 9.4 seconds to unload a full 14 round clip. It takes 4.43 seconds to shoot 7 rounds to compare to the Carbide repeater, and this gives a fire rate of 664 milliseconds. Hip firing 7 rounds will take 3.1 seconds to unload everything, again just to be able to compare it to the Carbine repeater. Accuracy wise, we're looking at just over 3 bars out of 4 on the in-game menu. In testing the bloom, it will take 824 milliseconds to get that rectangle to come all the way down, so your shots are just as accurate as they can possibly be. Shooting at a wall from standard shooting stance, you can see this is the kind of spread you can expect, and when you're shooting from the hip, this is the kind of spread you can expect from this weapon. Range, you're looking at 3.4 in the in-game menu. This translates to what you see here on the screen, as this is the furthest away you can acquire a lock-on your enemy. The reload speed in this is rated just under 3 out of 4 bars in the in-game menu. In the in-game practicality of this, it means to reload a full clip, it will take you 3.67 seconds, and it will take 2 seconds for you to reload just 7 bullets, again to compare that to the Carbine repeater. That translates into 262 milliseconds per bullet. The Lancaster repeater unlocks relatively early at rank 12, and it will cost you $243 or 10 gold bars. So overall, it has an excellent rate of fire. It's really accurate compared to a lot of things, and it's just a well-balanced repeater. And personally, I just love the sound of it when you fire it. It's definitely a decent repeater to have in your arsenal. The Litfield repeater is the last repeater that you can unlock in Red Dead Online, and most players will find themselves pondering, is it really worth purchasing this Litfield? The Litfield repeater is based on the 1860 Henry repeating rifle, and it has apparently good damage, accuracy and capacity. Looking at the ammo capacity that this gun has, it holds 16 rounds, which is the second highest in the game. But when it comes to damage, this is where things get interesting. The damage in the game ranks it almost at 3 bars out of 4, putting it as the hardest hitting repeater that's there. But in my testing, it takes 6 body shots to down someone from long range and 3 body shots to down someone on short range, meaning it's actually the least powerful out of all of them. The rate of fire is ranked at 2 out of 4 bars on the in-game menu, and for 16 shots it's going to take you about 12.8 seconds to unload that. 7 shots are going to take you 5 seconds, and this will put it at a rating of 795 milliseconds per bullet. Shooting from the hip, you can get 7 shots off in 3.2 seconds, and this will give you a fire rate of 480 milliseconds for this. Accuracy wise, you're just over 3 bars in the in-game menu, and from my testing of the bloom, it's going to take 968 milliseconds for that to get all the way down, so your shots are the most accurate. Doing the wall grouping test, you can see just shooting standard, this is the kind of grouping that you will get using the Litfield, and if you're just quick firing shooting from the hip, this is the kind of grouping and accuracy you can expect from this gun. Range wise, you're looking at just over 3.5 bars in the in-game menu, and you can see on screen how far that would be before you can get a lock on your enemy. The reload of the Litfield is coming in at 3 bars out of 4 on the in-game menu. This in practicality in game translates to 16 bullets that can be reloaded at 5.2 seconds. For shooting 7 shots, you'll be able to reload those in 2.7 seconds, which will give you a fire rate of 327 milliseconds per bullet. The Litfield repeater unlocks at level 14, and it's going to set you back 348 cash or 14 gold bars. The last repeater that is in the pack is the Evans repeater. The Evans repeater is based on the Evans repeating rifle, and it is going to have a capacity of 26 bullets. This is easily the largest capacity of all the repeaters by a long shot. The damage is just over 2 out of 4 in the in-game menu, and is technically meant to be the weakest out of all of the guns, but in practicality you're going to take down an enemy at long range with 5 shots, and at close range you'll take down a player with full health with 3 shots, so it's just on a par with all of the other repeaters. The rate of fire is coming in just under 2.5 out of 4 on the in-game menu for fully upgraded Evans repeater, and this really translates into 19 seconds to unload the full capacity of the 26 bullets. Testing in line with the Carbine repeater, by just shooting off 7 shots, it will take 4.8 seconds, giving it a fire rate of 738 milliseconds. Hip firing 7 shots is going to be done in 3 seconds, giving it a fire rate of 483 milliseconds of a hip fire rate. The accuracy is coming in at 3.5 bars in the in-game menu. Again, testing the reticle size as it goes down and becomes more accurate. To get to the optimum spot for accuracy, it's going to take 868 milliseconds. To get an idea of the kind of grouping, firing at a wall at standard stance will give you this kind of grouping. And if you're testing out the hip firing, this is the kind of grouping you can expect by firing off. The range is similar to all of the other repeaters out there, and it's just around the 3.5 mark in the in-game menu, and that is what it translates like here on the in-game. This is the distance where you can get that lock on to your enemy. The reload, when you're fully familiar with this weapon, will be 3 bars out of 4. And to put this in the in-game context, that means in 26 bullets, to reload them all, it's going to take 9.176 seconds. For 7 shots, to help it be comparable with the Carbine repeater, it's going to take 2.73 seconds to reload those 7 shots. This gives it a reload speed of 353 milliseconds per bullet. This gun unlocks, believe it or not, at rank 1, but it will set you back $300 or 12 gold bars. Personally, I think this is a brilliant repeater for when you're playing missions like Call to Arms, because that high capacity is just really good, so you don't have to reload when you're taking out lots of NPCs. So based on all of these stats that I've painstakingly went through to confirm and to discover, I have come to the conclusion that I would rank the 4 repeaters in this order. My least favorite is actually the Litfield repeater, and the reason is it's a little misleading to think that this is going to be the most powerful repeater with the in-game stats, but in practicality, at least in PvP mode, it's going to take 1 more shot to take down an opponent. So it's going to take 6 body shots from a medium to long distance away, whereas every other repeater will take the enemy down in 5 shots. Of course, they'll all take an enemy down with 3 shots from close range, but at close range you'll probably be better off using a different weapon anyway. It also has the second slowest speed when it comes to bloom, and it has the slowest fire rate out of all of the repeaters. Reloading speed, it is on a par with the Evans repeater, but it's still the slowest to reload. Pair that with the cost of it costing the most at $348 or 14 gold bars, I just honestly think this is definitely not the best repeater to pick. The Carbine repeater is coming in second last for me, and I think the problem is here, the bloom, we're looking at just a second bloom, which is the least accurate of all of them that I could test. The 7-round ammo capacity as well is a big letdown, but it is still overall a decent weapon to get, considering you can get it very early in game and it doesn't cost that much at all. It is definitely something I wouldn't throw away too quick until you can afford something better. Judging what's going to be first and second, it is kind of difficult to judge between the Lancaster repeater and the Evans repeater. Bloom wise, they're very, very similar. Again, damage, they're identical, taking people down with 5 shots from long range, 3 shots up close. The reload is where you're going to see that benefit from the Lancaster. It has got a better reload speed per bullet, and its fire rate is much better also. Of course, the biggest caveat and difference between these is the ammo capacity, and this could be the reason one would pick one over the other. The Lancaster can only hold 14 rounds before it needs to reload, whereas the Evans repeater can hold 26 rounds. Personally, I think it's a very, very close decision, but I'm going to put the Evans repeater for myself personally second, and the Lancaster repeater is my personal favorite weapon. And after doing all this in-depth testing, it still is my favorite repeater in the game. But of course, this is just my opinion based on my testing. Now, I would love to hear what your opinion is. What is your favorite repeater in the game at the moment, and why is it your favorite repeater? Also, what do you think of the testing that I've done? Do you think that it's accurate, or do you think there could be more improvements, or am I missing something out that could change the order of my opinion? Always love hearing from you guys. I also love to get the feedback from you, and I'm looking forward to reading your comments on this video. This video took a crazy amount of time to edit and test, it like unbelievable amount. So leaving a like or comment below really does support this kind of video and will encourage me to make more. Massive thanks to everyone who does support this channel. I really do appreciate it, especially to the members. You guys are incredible and keep this channel going. And that's it. I'm looking forward to seeing the comments, and I'll catch you in